You're listening to the English language version of this podcast episode.
Para escuchar en español, sigue el enlace en la descripción de este episodio.
May I have your attention, please? Do not leave your vehicle unattended at the front curb or it will be cited for 10 seconds.
Luis Lamas is leaving Oregon and the United States. At the airport, he's shaking.
¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Estás nervioso?
Salud.
¿Cómo es?
Sí, me siento nervioso.
¿Sí?
He's unloading 3 suitcases in a tan backpack with an American flag sewn on the front. His friend Salvador Gasca is here with him. They've known each other since Luis moved to Oregon almost 4 years ago. They hug and say their goodbyes. His friend says, God bless you and live life. It's better to live it. Luis Lamas is traveling back to Mexico, where he's from, leaving the life he built here behind. He thought about staying, but then...
Pensé en su momento, ¿no? Dije, pues me quedo aquí. Pero ya cuando empiezas a vivir más aquí en Estados Unidos, a conocer más.
At the time, I thought, well, I'll stay here. But the longer you live here in the United States, getting to know it more, I said, no, it's not for me.
Luis is one of a growing number of people compelled to leave the U.S. voluntarily out of fear of arrest or detention. The Trump administration has made harsh immigration enforcement a centerpiece policy, promising to arrest and deport anyone without lawful status.
Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return.
Emphasizing arrests of people with a criminal record. But that's not always been the case.
President Trump has repeatedly claimed his administration's immigration crackdown would focus on deporting those who he describes as, quote, the worst of the worst. But government data shows the majority of people detained by ICE in recent months have never been convicted of a crime.
5 U.S. citizens and 1 permanent resident now suing the Fed, saying they were illegally arrested and detained during immigration operations around the area. All
of this led to Luis's decision to leave.
No quiero averiguar si me van a meter un centro de detención o si voy a...
I don't want to find out if they're going to put me in a detention center or if I'm going to live so many years here and be told, you know what? No, you have to go back to your country. No, it's a waste of time.
From the Gert Boyle studio, I'm Jen Chavez, and this is The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB about the place you call home. Today, the story of Luis Lamas, a Mexican immigrant who used to call Oregon home. He moved to America for better opportunities, but left out of fear. Our reporter Alejandro Figueroa takes it from here.
I first met Luis back in January, just days before the inauguration. I'm in Woodburn, Oregon. Luis Lamas is sitting in a storage closet behind the coffee stand he owns, Café La Onda. He's scrolling on his phone. It's a few minutes before the end of his shift. He's of average height, wears glasses, and has a big smile. The kind you can't help but return a smile back to. He's confident and sure of himself. This is the first time I'm interviewing him.
Yo soy Luis Lamas. It's Lamas.
The day is winding down. He's already wiped down the counters and washed the dishes. The coffee shop where he works is in the downtown area. There are many Latino-owned businesses here. Most stores have Spanish signs in their windows, and almost 2/3 of the city's residents are Latino or Hispanic, a very different demographic compared to most of Oregon. Luis knows many of his customers, and he says they confide in him.
Porque a veces aquí en el café hasta de psicólogo la haces, ¿no?
Sometimes here in the cafe, you even have to play psychologist. Here we have divorced women, women who've been dumped, pregnant women.
But lately, he's noticed a shift in tone.
Bueno, ya había un miedo, ¿no? Hay un miedo, pero también hay una resignación.
He says there's fear, but there's also resignation. There's a trend we saw during the first Trump administration. Communities across the U.S. saw an increase in immigration enforcement. Lamas says Fear and anxiety over arrests looms once again.
Si empiezan las redadas, la gente no va a salir a trabajar.
If the raids start, people won't go to work.
I wanted to learn more about Luis, so I asked him to take me back to the beginning when he first traveled to the U.S.
Que se vino totalmente la pandemia 2021, pues se vinieron abajo todos los negocios, ¿no?
The 2021 pandemic hit completely while all the businesses collapsed. I spent a year sitting at home trying to figure out what to do, looking for a job because the economy was completely dead. So I decided to move to the United States.
Luis is in his early 50s, is divorced, and left behind 2 kids, a home, a community, and arrived in California by plane in 2021. He came on a tourist visa, looking for an economic opportunity, and took any job he could get, some paying as little as $300 a week. He worked under the hot Texas sun.
Las temperaturas en Houston son a 110 grados Fahrenheit.
The temperatures in Houston reach 110 degrees, but up on the roof, they rise to 130.
He says he watched men get sick from the heat and then get right back to work. In between shifts, he would sleep in closets or cheap motel rooms with crews of half a dozen men.
Te metían a dormir 7, 8 personas en un cuarto que es para 2, máximo 3.
He pruned almond trees in the San Joaquin Valley of California.
Nunca había tenido ese contacto con trabajo más duro que en México, ¿no? Y pues olvídate, ¿no? Empezar a trabajar en el frío, hijo de su madre, o sea, que los...
I've never done such demanding work. It was harder than in Mexico even. And I said, well, forget about it. I'm not going to start working in the cold. Son of the pain in my toes. You never feel that in Mexico. I've never felt that kind of pain before.
Then he made his way to Oregon. He came here by word of mouth from a friend who told him there were crews of workers heading out to the nurseries. He'd ride to job sites in vans with the rest of the crew, but it wasn't safe when they hit the road. The driver was reckless, and they almost got into a serious car accident, twice. But one day, he walked around town and came across a Metropolis marketplace. He saw the food stalls and talked to one of the owners. This all led to him getting a job at that stall, flipping burgers. And right across from the burger place, there was a coffee shop owned by Eric Swenson, then mayor of Woodburn. You know, they started talking, he got to know Eric, and they eventually became friends. Eric tells Luis he's looking to sell the coffee shop, and then just offers it to Luis. At the time, Luis had a bit of money saved up and was dating his then girlfriend. He convinced her to go in with him, and they both bought the shop, with her name being on most of the official paperwork since she's a U.S. citizen. And now, as a coffee shop owner and unofficial barista therapist, he says all the experiences he faced living in America helped him connect with people at the shop. He says he's become more attuned to other people's pain.
A la gente que cuando llega aquí, que tiene muchas necesidades.
There's people that when they get here, they have a lot of needs. They don't know what door to knock on because they've arrived in fear.
For some, those fears now include increased immigration enforcement from the Trump administration. Whenever the topic comes up at the coffee shop, Luis says he gets a wide variety of thoughts.
Ayer estaba platicando con una amiga y me dice, no, Luis, yo ya viví aquí, o sea, ya son 20 años aquí.
I was speaking with a friend and she told me, I've already been here for 20 years. I already did what I came to do. Whatever I have to sell, I'll sell and go back to Mexico. She told me, if I stay, it's only because of my children. It's the only thing that worries me the most.
At the end of my interview with Luis, as we're sitting by his coffee stand, I ask him what his plans are in the next few months. That's when he told me he's leaving Oregon in the U.S. He's overstayed his visa.
Yo regreso a México. Ahorita estoy vendiendo ya el negocio con mi socia.
I'm going back to Mexico. My associate and I are selling our business. I'm thinking I'll leave next month precisely because of what we've been talking about. I don't want to leave myself exposed to being mistreated.
After 4 years of living in a new country, in a few states, Luis says he's strengthened a lot of his skills here and that he might have more opportunities in Mexico now. And he wants to see his family.
Pues imagínate sin ver a tus hijos casi 4 años.
Imagine going 4 years without seeing your children, without seeing your parents.
I didn't hear from Luis again until a few months later. He called to tell me he sold his coffee shop. He was leaving for Mexico soon. I wondered what would it be like to leave his life he built in Oregon and move back to Mexico. I'm meeting Luis at his home in Woodburn. It's May 2nd.
¿Cómo está?
Bien, pásate.
Aquí es donde vive.
Sí, ¿cómo ves? Está bonito, ¿no?
Es muy bonito. He lives here with a roommate, Eric, the former mayor of Woodburn. They live in a big 2-story house. The inside is simple. The living room is lined with books all over the floor. There's a guitar and an amp in the corner, and some shelves holding even more books. No couch, just 2 chairs that didn't match. We go back to the porch to sit and talk. There's a small kid's playground that looks like it hadn't been used in years, and a hot tub. Luis is very vulnerable. He answers my questions honestly. He's also kind of an introvert, not by choice though. He says that's because of his status. He never gets out. He goes out to work and comes back home.
Lo más que llegué a salir, te digo, fui a Seattle, Portland, por conocer.
The most I ever got to go out and do was see Seattle and Portland, some of the beaches around here.
It's important to him to be open. He tends to tell me what's on his mind. We talk a bit about life in Mexico. Much of it's personal, complicated problems. How things are going with his ex-wife in Mexico, how things ended with his girlfriend in Woodburn, but that he still shares the relationship. As we're sitting here, he tells me he considered staying in the U.S.
No quiero averiguar si me van a meter un
I don't want to find out if they're going to put me in a detention center or if years are going to pass and they tell me, you know what, you have to go back to your country anyway. No, I mean, that would be a waste of time.
And he's not interested in renewing his visa.
No tengo. No me interesa mucho renovar.
I don't have a permit. I'm not interested in renewing it from what I've seen in the United States.
But that's not all that went into his decision to leave.
Si estoy aquí es porque, bueno, estoy sobreviviendo.
If I'm here, it's because I'm surviving right now and learning, and I need to use that time to grow as a person. Many people come to the United States and say they're here to make money. The truth is, you don't get rich in the United States. It's a process.
Luis says the Trump administration's crackdown was the push he needed after realizing he'd likely not be able to visit his family in Mexico. And in some ways, he says, his time in America had run its course.
Junto con lo de Trump, pues dices, no, pues
With all that Trump stuff, I said, well, why am I exposing myself? Better I return home, take with me what I've earned, and it's over.
And perhaps, he says, the U.S. is not the land of opportunity it's made out to be. Luis and I talked about politics, what life's been like since he sold the coffee stand, and what he's going to miss about this place, Oregon and the United States, and what might be waiting for him back in Mexico.
No va a ser fácil regresar. De volverte a insertar en el.
Returning won't be easy. Going back into the workforce, what will you do to get by in Mexico? How much has changed in the last 4 years? You'll start feeling it out, you know. But at the end of the day, you've always lived in Mexico, right? It was 4 years here and 47 years that I lived in Mexico.
Yo creo que tuve que salir de México porque México ya me quedó pequeño, ¿no?
No, not me. I'm not from here. I think I had to leave Mexico because Mexico was just too small for me, right? I mean, the United States did give me a lot. It gave me a lot in the form of personal and spiritual growth. It gave me vision and other competitive advantages that give me an edge as a worker. I don't speak perfect English, but I learned the fundamentals.
I think I should ask you this. Do you think, and I know you have your reasons, but how do the lawyers put it? Like, are you deporting yourself?
Sí.
Yes, I'm self-deporting.
Coming up after a break, Luis Lamas travels back to Mexico. Thanks for listening to The Evergreen, our podcast from OPB about the place you call home. If you like what you hear, subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app, and we'll bring you a new story of what it's like to live in the Northwest or leave it behind every Monday morning. You can also follow OPB on Instagram at OPB Photo, or follow me directly at Jen Chavez OPB. That's Jen with 2 N's, and I'll keep you posted on everything Team Evergreen is up to. And remember, this episode about Luis Lamas returning to Mexico on his own terms and all the great OPB reporting and storytelling you hear on this show is made possible by many thousands of OPB members. Your support allows us to tell human stories just like this one. Support our journalism by becoming an OPB sustaining member today at opb.org/pod. And now, back to the show.
It's May 9th, a week before Luis will leave the U.S. I call to check on him.
This call is being recorded.
Ok, ahí está.
Okay.
Pero nada, dijiste que estaba ya empacando.
Sí, pues acomodando
Yeah, well, I'm getting everything sorted. I bought some new clothes, and then I'm going to send something through a shipping company. There are some companies that do just that, transporting things like for people who live here and want to send things to their relatives, like clothes and all that.
He plans to fly to San Diego and have a friend pick him up from the airport and drive him across the border to Tijuana. And starting tomorrow, he has a busy week.
varios appointments with, con amigos.
He's starting to say goodbye to all of the friends he made in Oregon over the past couple of years. We hang up after a couple of minutes. We'll be meeting again in a week. Bueno, cuídate.
Ándale pues, Alejandro. Cuídate.
Adiós.
Bye.
Adiós. It's the morning of May 17th. I'm up early to meet Luis at his home. I carpool with our photographer to be at his house by 7 in the morning. We get to his house and we chat for a bit, waiting for his friend Salvador Gasca to come pick him up. Luis looks tired and a bit nervous. His friend arrives, and Luis quickly loads up his suitcases in the trunk. I hop in the car with Luis and Salvador. They've known each other for about 4 years. Now, we're driving to the airport in Eugene, a little over an hour's drive. We stop to get coffee on the way at Dutch Bros.
Oh, be just a small Americano.
Just black, please.
Black.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
On the cart right there, Gasca asks Luis if film is Oregon and teases him. Are you going to cry? It feels like a normal drive. Not necessarily tense, but maybe bittersweet. Salvador and Luis are cracking jokes, even saying my name reminds them of a popular Lady Gaga song.
Alejandro, cuando oigo ese nombre me acuerdo mucho de la canción de Alejandro.
Eso me lo dice en todo mundo. No. We're talking about everything from the Aztec Empire, what Luis plans on eating when he gets to Tijuana.
Un corte es un beef.
¿Una carne?
Una carnita.
¿Carne,
Sí.
como un bistec?
Sí, un pinche término medio.
¿No vas a llegar a comerte unas garnachas de la calle?
And even a little singing to Jose Alfredo Jimenez, the popular Mexican ranchera singer. Luis says those songs hold lots of memories.
Como la fuerza, mano izquierda, si nos deja, nos vamos a querer toda la vida.
Luis knows that leaving the U.S. isn't the same for everyone. He knows some people who leave do not have much to lose, and others have built deep ties they do not want to break. So I ask him, do you feel privileged in this opportunity?
Sí, sí me siento privilegiado. Sí. Sí me siento totalmente con privilegio. ¿Por qué? Porque tengo la opción de regresar.
Yes, I feel privileged. I feel totally privileged. Why? Because I have the option to return to a good situation. Does that make sense? I gained more than I lost during my 4 years here.
We finally get to the airport, and Luis is nervous. He's shaking from the nerves, but also because he was up late the night before, saying goodbye to his friends. Luis and Salvador say their goodbyes. He gives Luis a strong pat in the back.
Take care of yourself. God bless you. It's all above board, right? Live life. It's better to live it.
He picks up his luggage and makes his way toward the airport security to begin his journey back to Mexico, ending his time in America. A few hours later, I hear from Luis. He sends me a couple voice messages to let me know he made it through.
¿Qué hubo, Alejandro? ¿Cómo estás? Todo bien, Alejandro. Llegué aquí a un restaurancito que se llama El Pampas. Ya extrañaba los cortecitos. Ya soy aquí en el aeropuerto. Todo bien. ¿Qué pasa, Alejandro? Oye, ya ando aquí. Ya estoy aquí en Colima. Saludos. ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo tranquilo? ¿Todo a tiempo?
It's October 17th, exactly 5 months since Luis left the United States.
Hola, Alejandro.
Hola, Luis. ¿Cómo estás? What are you doing? How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm here in my house and I'm working in my problems.
You're working on your problems. Life is a little bit crazy right now.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my living room in Oregon while he chats with me in his home in Mexico. He's renting a small house there. He tells me he's been going through a lot. Issues with his ex-wife, his parents are getting older and going through some health problems, and work didn't turn out the way he wanted.
El principal es el tema económico, ¿no?
The main issue is the economic one. Integrating myself into a society so I could start making money because I'm 51. That's a problem here in Mexico. They don't have maybe the rules or regulations. My age is a problem right now. It's a problem, even though I have work experience. That's one of the challenges now, to introduce myself again to the economic system. I had mentioned, if you remember, that I was going to go to return to work with a friend, but those projects haven't taken off yet. They haven't started.
He's working, but it's not much.
Es de muy bajo salario.
It's a very, very low salary.
His favorite thing about being back home, he says, is his kids.
¿Sabes? He visto a mi hijo ahorita 5 veces desde que llegué.
You know, I've seen my son 5 times since I got here, and I love being with him. I love being with him. It has filled my heart.
Oye, pero deja preguntarle porque mencionaste que ya algunas de tus amistades están diciendo...
Hey, but let me ask, because you mentioned that some of your friends are already saying they've seen ICE in Woodburn. Have you stayed up to date on the news and the topic of immigration?
Sí, definitivamente sí. Pues me da tristeza, ¿no? Me da mucha tristeza.
Yes, definitely yes. Yes, well, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because of all the people I know, because I wouldn't want to see them end up in a situation where they have to return to Mexico. And I know people whose children were born in the United States. Half of their kids got here at 3 years old. They're not citizens. They live here through DACA. And the others are citizens and their mom or dad isn't here legally in the United States. Imagine the chaos that would create.
No, eso es duro.
That's hard.
¿Piensas que tomaste la decisión correcta en irte en el momento que te...
Do you think you made the right decision at the moment you left, at the right time? I mean, how do you feel about all that?
No, yo pienso que fue la mejor decisión, Alejandro. Yo creo que fue la mejor decisión.
No, I think it was the best decision, Alejandro. I think it was the best decision. And you see now, I mean, it's a real problem because exactly what they talked about at the time is happening. They're taking people just to take them. I mean, they don't have any problems or legal issues. They haven't had any problems in the United States. What they want is numbers. I mean, so you could be detained or not detained legally, or you could be sent to the United States or to Mexico illegally. No, for me, it was the best decision.
I wonder if Luis felt some sense of relief.
Sí, alivio y amor, ¿no? Fue lo que más sentí.
Yes, relief and love were what I felt most. Relief, love, and protection.
Porque sientes como cuando llegas con tu familia.
Because you feel like when you come home to family, they hug you, kiss you, tell you they missed you. That's how I felt in Mexico.
The world just feels different in Mexico, he says. Like, these are my people. Ya no hay güeros, he says jokingly. There's no white people. People are more lively, kind, which I totally understand. There's a certain comfort and familiarity when you go back to the places you know and that knows you. I asked him, would he do it again? Would he come back to America?
Sí, Alejandro, sí.
He'd come back to visit friends, but not live here again. We talked for over an hour. Before we hung up, I asked Luis one more question. What does he hope for his future in Mexico?
Estabilidad, Alejandro, y estar con mis hijos y con mi familia.
Stability, Alejandro, and being with my children and my family. It's the only thing I don't want to leave again. It's very difficult, and I'm fighting for it. I have my little ranch. I want to get it going so I can go there weekly to drink and have a good time there. Why? Because right now I'm 51 years old. Retirement starts at 60 or 65. Well, I have to prepare for that part of that stage because, Alejandro, I have 9 years left. Or no, 8 years till then. So I have to prepare to live well through that stage of my life. And above all, my son, my youngest one, who worries me the most right now and matters the most because he's struggling here. And the truth is, part of my coming to the United States was him. I mean, not the biggest part of it. Like it was like the drop that overfilled the glass, but my son was the one who made me move to the United States.
And then we say our goodbyes. For now.
Bueno, Luis, cuídate allá, que todo esté bien y que todo se mejore.
Sí, gracias. Gracias, Alejandro.
Bueno, adiós.
Bye.
Alejandro Figueroa is OPB's food and agricultural reporter. You can read and hear his coverage of Luis Lamas and his story at opb.org. Find a link in our show notes. Thank you for listening to The Evergreen, a podcast from OPB. Mia Estrada produced this episode, and our technical director is Stephen Cray. He also mixed, mastered, and scored the episode. The OPB podcast team also includes Julie Sabatier and Sage Van Wing. Santiago Ochoa did Spanish language editing for the episode. Alejandro Figueroa and Mia Estrada did the interviews you heard. Thanks to Rolando Hernandez, the voice of Luis Lamas in English. The music in this episode is from Audio Network. We also used clips from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, CBS Evening News, and NBC News. If you ever have a question for us, please reach out. You can email us at theevergreen@opb.org. I'm Jen Chavez. Nos vemos.